Hey people, what's going on? I was sitting here admiring the Bruma Chapel at night. Torchlight on the front doors against the night sky. The Oblivion moons up there in the background. Very cool.
How are you?
This is definitely one of those games where some places where I just sometimes just stop and just sit and chill, listen to the music or the wind blowing in the background and check out whatever scenery is there, you know. Sometimes on a mountaintop, out in the hills and the valleys and stuff. It's just awesome. Did the same thing in Skyrim. I'm really good about that in these games. Now, I could have gone to essentially any city. I need to visit all the Mage Guild halls. But this one, I believe I can join the Fighters Guild also while I'm here. I think if I go to another city and talk to the Fighters Guilds there, they're going to send me here anyway, if I remember right. Well, I'll go in here and check it out anyway, but if we can join up there, that's going to open up the Fighters Guild trainers to me also. So whether we do their quest line or not, I can still have access to, you know, blunt and block and heavy armor, whatever else I might need at some point in the future. It can get kind of sticky when you're trying to level to get stuck trying to get a few extra points into a particular skill set aligned with a particular attribute. And you spend so long trying to train it that you waste a bunch of skill points in another attribute that you would like to have. Like, say, you know, I would like to drop some points into speed, but I can't because I'm still trying to train my blade, but it's taking forever. And so while I'm running around trying to train my blade, my athletics go up like 8 times. And when I level, I'm not putting any attribute points into speed, so that's just wasted training in athletics that I would really probably like to use maybe the next level or something. So that's when I use training. That's specifically why I use it. It wasn't an issue because they dumbed it down a lot in Skyrim, but here it was definitely something to manage. To have some sort of plan between levels to where you're actually training for a purpose. Nice picture.
Astia Inventius, wife of the woodsman Pinnerus Inventius. Always out hunting. Anything to avoid doing a little work around the house. It's unbelievable. Right in the center of the city, nobody saw anything? Makes you wonder about the competence of the guard, if you ask me. I still can't believe what happened at the chapel. Travaia, Leralthia, Domania, all dead. Be seeing you.
I mean, how cool is that? Just a random NPC just out here enjoying the painting, and her picture is an actual landscape here of the lighthouse. Just enjoying herself. And how, you know, other than the Imperial Guards, I don't think there's an unnamed NPC in the game. You know, I don't think there's just like anyone just named merchant. I mean, even the beggars have names. I don't think there's any beggars that are just called beggar. I don't think so. Pretty sure everybody has their own unique life here, and they're going about doing their thing. Happy married couples, bickering married couples, people who are never going to get married, sneaks, thieves, assassins, good guys, zealots, like, what's his name, Euronymous Lex, the one who has a hard-on for the Gray Fox. You know, everyone's got their story, and like, damn, that's just badass. Now these things, Lady Stone, okay, now if you were to pick the lady when you first start, you would get points towards willpower and endurance. Instead of the warrior, which is strength and endurance. That's the one I took. I guess the lady might be more towards a mage. Probably depend on what starting race. Really, the stones are to compensate for weaknesses with racial traits. Like the Breton starts really, really low on agility, strength, and endurance. You weaken those because you're primarily what's considered a mage class. That's why I started for my warrior, right? Make up for that with the lady, then make up for that with my favorite attributes, and then start gearing my first 10, 15 levels towards nothing but that. Right? We talked about all that, right? But now if I were to come and pick this Doomstone, come back at like, I don't know, midnight, maybe of a certain night during the week or the month or something, whatever the case is, to activate that thing. I don't know if it replaces my birth sign or gives me a temporary bonus or something. Because, I mean, the lady, I would think it would give you extra points in your... I'm thinking it replaces your birth sign. It's a way to switch or change, maybe. I don't remember exactly how those work. But there should be a corresponding standing stone like that for all the different star signs that you have available at the beginning. You know, Atronak and, what is it, Steed, Thief, Warrior, Apprentice, etc., etc. Look at how hard the stupid mud crab just hit me. These mud crabs are not playing around with their crab foo. You get the dramatic charge music going on in the background. It's just awesome stuff. Come on, you little shit. Wow. Okay, they can damn near two-shot you. Wow, that's crazy. I need a stronger healing spell. I think my restoration is just a couple points away from 25, and I can probably upgrade a little bit to where I can heal myself in maybe 4 or 5 spells instead of 15 or 20 type of thing. Yeah. If I'm just going to sit here and just be using the crap out of my restoration, I probably ought to consider raising my willpower one of these levels here, taking advantage of that. Good as I do have one willpower skill, I believe it's Alteration. That's relatively easy to raise. Come on with it. I need to raise my hand-to-hand one time anyway. Come on. Boxing with mud crabs down at the waterfront, man. This is something you can do around Imperial City. I will be doing this. This is the thing that I was like, all right, guys, I won't suffer you through all this. All my boxing sessions with crabs down at the lakeside and stuff. But there will be times where I'll need a couple extra points, maybe in Blade or Blunt or whatever. Have to go find some crabs to mess with. Poor crabs getting victimized for my training purposes. Well, that's what training is, right? Training. Practicing something to get better at it. Sure enough. Once we get into the Arcane University, there'll be opportunity to create some what you call training spells, and essentially what you need is a spell that you can cast. Like, I don't know, like say a simple Dispel or Charm or something, or a Conjuration spell, and what you do is you cast the weakest thing you possibly can for just 1 second, so that you just sit there, and it costs almost no magicka. And so if your magicka regeneration is decent, it does kind of suck when you're running with the Atronak sign, because your magicka doesn't regenerate, but then all you have to do is literally press the back button and wait for an hour, and everything comes back. All your magicka comes back full anyway. So, actually, no, it doesn't. Not with the Atronak sign, it doesn't. I take that back. No, I'm wrong. If your magicka regenerates on its own, in any way, shape, or form, then yeah, if you just press the back button for an hour, it comes back full. But if you're Atronak, it's treated basically like your health bar until you replenish it or heal it, so to speak. Yeah, it's stunted. That's right. You just get a huge magicka bonus. You can cast a shit ton more spells or stronger spells, but you got to have potions on hand. I forgot about that. Anywho. Okay, now, this is kind of a tradition of mine, for wondering why I'm down here on this little island. There is a glass helmet down here, and it's got some really cool enchantments. They're relatively cheap ones, but they come in handy. Is Water Breathing and Night Eye are both on this helmet. It's somewhere right here around these rocks, just off this little island. And there it is, right there. Fin Gleam. And I don't know if it's any kind of exceptional armor rating or anything. It's a glass helmet. So it's, you know, we're definitely not in... I think glass is around level somewhere between 10 and 15 something. Probably start seeing that stuff. But maybe a little higher than that. I don't remember exactly. But it's early, but the enchantments are handy. It saves on the potions or having to necessarily cast spells. You can just put that helmet on in a dark cave. And then even if you need to go diving... Well, it not only helps you see underwater as well, but it also lets you breathe underwater too. It makes me kind of wonder how that guy who was wearing it died. That skeleton down there. Wonder what happened. I mean, it's water breathing, right? Maybe a slaughterfish got him, or one of these crabs got him. That's what it was. I do not even remember when or how I even discovered that helmet. I would like to think that maybe I just found it on my own, just being really thorough and exploring and stuff. But what excuse I would have had for diving off that particular part of the coast, unless maybe I had one of those things where I literally went around to every body of water and just went swimming, diving, looking for stuff. I want to say I probably heard about it at least. But this was back before going to YouTube for a video was a thing. Yeah, wow, how we're progressing pretty quickly here now, huh? Yeah, you could, I think back then the best way to information was you might go and somebody might have mentioned it, talked about it, but finding a detailed how-to video type of thing, well, that's... Yeah, that wasn't, that was just, I guess it was just coming into being a thing back then. Anyway, not exactly sure what the hell inspired me to go look for that thing, but there you have it. Just for as long as I can remember, that's one of the first things I do in the game, is go grab Fingleam, just because. Actually, one of these Mage Guild quests to get a recommendation, I'll give you a coin, sure.
I can see you're a kind soul, gentle lady. Sure. Go down to the chapel and you can't miss him. He'll be the one outside, ranting at passers-by. Thank you, kind lady.
Oh, they got their local Heimsker, huh? This is where Heimsker's little tradition started right here. Yeah, I think this has to do with the Knights of the Nine DLC, if I remember. We've also got the Shivering Isles active. I'm not going there anytime soon. You're not going to catch me stepping foot on that in that madness for quite a while.
My name's Quillweave. I've had some success selling stories about the lives of the lower and criminal classes. Pay attention, and you can learn a lot. Goodbye. Actually, we'll be dealing with Quillweave here pretty soon. First, we're going to get whatever it is the Mages Guild needs done. And then I'm going to go next door. We'll hopefully get into the Fighters Guild. And I think they've got a thing that we need to do right here in town. And I believe it involves her. And this is nice. It's been a while. Like I remember vaguely, but it's kind of new again. It's fresh enough to where I'm enjoying this. I'm getting that giddy little kid feeling like, oh, yay, Oblivion, you know. This is awesome stuff. All right, let's go see what they want here. I'm fixing to get rich, too, by the way. I'm not playing. Give me all the free stuff.
Hello, Associate. To earn a recommendation from me, you need simply prove you are able-bodied and prepared to learn something in the process. Let's get to training.
Don't judge me, but I might have a crush on Carahill.
Unlike some frivolous tasks you may be given at other guild halls, This is a serious matter and has consequences. Are you prepared? Unlike some frivolous task, then allow me to explain the task. The Council of Mages has entrusted me with resolving a situation along the Gold Road. Several traveling merchants have been found dead along the Gold Road recently, with even more missing. The Council has asked that I put a stop to it. You are going to help me do so. Indeed, it may well be. I see no reason to shelter you from situations the Guild deals with on a daily basis. This is the important work, the work that matters. I have no time for Guild recruits that are useless in the field. This will be an excellent way for you to prove yourself. As you are new to the Guild, you are less likely to be recognized as a member. This may give you an advantage in getting to the root of the problem. We believe the killings are the actions of a rogue mage. Battle mages have been sent to the Brina Cross Inn, the only common link between the victims. You are to travel north to the Brina Cross Inn and speak with Ariel Gerard. She will give you further instructions. Some mages do not abide by the principles of the Guild and operate outside its boundaries. Many hold little value for the lives of others. The frost burns found on the victims in this case indicate a mage was responsible for their deaths. Likely nothing more than simple robbery. These scrolls should provide sufficient resistance to frost magic when and if you do encounter this rogue mage. Use them wisely. It's a sad thing to think that a mage would kill helpless merchants for the wares they carry. The inn lies north of Anvil. Speak with Ariel Gerard when you arrive. She will give you further instructions. Do not let your guard down. We do not know whether the inn staff is involved somehow. The scrolls I have given you should protect you from the magic the mage seems to use most frequently. But do not let your guard down. He may have more tricks up his sleeve. Take care.
Tough love, Carahill. I have no use for an apprentice that is of no use. Well, okay, that makes sense. First of all, I'm new to the guild. Ought to be easier to get in there without being noticed. And then if I'm somehow lost in the process, well, it's of no real consequence to the guild because I wasn't an established member in the first place. But if I can help them solve their problem, then it's worth it. You know, that seems legit. Ah, nice. Repair hammer. I'm totally looking for those. If you see me digging through every bag and every box, that's exactly what I'm looking for. A few pieces of gold here and there is great too, but mainly I want repair hammers. So this is a really good source of money and a good way to find early spells that will help me a lot in enchanting and crafting my own stuff later. Like, keep in mind what kind of spells I might want to make and what kind of enchantments I might want to put on my gear. Primarily weapons. Because you have to at least be able to cast a particular spell. Like, I don't need a spell that does, say, 50 points of damage to put 50 points of damage on a sword, for example, or whatever, or on an axe, or whatever. But I need to be able to cast that particular thing. Like, if I want to do frost damage, for example, well, then I need that. Well, if I want to make an enemy weak to frost, well, I need to know that spell too. Weakness to frost. Just like weakness to magic, and then something like, say, drain health, which is a really strong enchantment, and I'm probably going to lean that way in this one. Probably be something basic like weakness to magic, and then a particular thing like drain health, possibly even drain or even absorb agility. And then perhaps some minor little add-on like weakness to frost, frost damage.
Journeyman of the Mages Guild. What can I interest you in?
Well, here we go. Maybe he has some of those things I'm talking. Oh, they're cheap too. Nice. Yeah, you don't want to have to spend like 300, 500, 1,000 on each spell early, because notice I only have 1,400 gold, and it's taking me a while to get that up. But yeah, I'll give you 50, 60 gold apiece. Sure, I'll buy spells all day long like that. In fact, I could probably use any of these, so you know what? Let me just have them, just in case type of thing. Keep in mind when enchanting a weapon is you have a certain amount of charge. You only have so many points, and before, you know, to give your weapon a certain number of uses. If you stack on a whole bunch of damage and a whole bunch of stuff, odds are you can only swing your weapon 5 times before it's empty. Then you got to recharge it. So the ability to either keep a mass of soul gems or get Azura's Star, which is of course probably my favorite Daedric item.
Mage's Guild Evoker, advanced instructor in the arts of destruction. Only quality goods for sale here. What can I interest you in?
Yeah, much higher quality. Yeah, these are the prices I'm talking about. That's not what you want to see. I want the baseline versions of these for right now. Thank you.
Bye.
I'm Felon Relis of the Mages Guild. I handle alchemy training for the Anvil chapter.
Nice. What kind of
May
stuff
I
you got?
interest you in some of my fine wares?
Actually, what kind of stuff do you buy, more importantly? Although I might want to consider getting some ingredients to make some damage health potions. At least for the time being. We're low enough level where a simple damage health potion can be the difference between killing something and getting two-shotted by something. Well, since you're standing right there, why don't I just grab all this and...
They say that when you murder someone, the Dark Brotherhood comes to you in your sleep. It's how they recruit new members.
I had no idea.
Yes.
Have you spoken to Wilbur at the Count's Arms? He knows a lot about fine wines.
I enjoy a good bottle of wine, and Wilbur...
Good to know.
I love the randomly generated conversations. They might be talking about 3 completely different topics in 3 different sentences and then just say, well, great, see ya, get out of my face. I mean, just awesome. Oh, sometimes just comical. I think it's supposed to be. I don't know. You know, there is a decent amount of money to be had early going through all the Mages Guild stuff too. Some of it can be tedious, dangerous, and whatever, but it's worth it. It really is. You gotta figure the number of, like, say, alchemy tools that are available just sitting on shelves. There's probably, I don't know, 5 or 10 grand to be had just from that, for all I know, between all the different Mages Guilds in all the different towns. Seems like the one in Coral, actually, if we do go to Coral next, although that's got one of the harder ones to deal with because you got to go up a mountain. You got to fight stuff along the way. Depends on what they throw at us. I'm guessing it'd just be imps chunking fireballs at us. It wouldn't be a big deal. But you run into something like mountain, like wolves or something. Oh, that one wolf probably tear my ass off the bone right now.
Take care.
Hello, associate.
Wouldn't doubt that at all. I think Coral has the best, most valuable stuff there. It seems like they have a bunch of potions you can have and a bunch of soul gems. But between that and Skingrad has a really treacherous quest you have to go do. I think it's the hardest of all of them. Of all the Mages Guild ones, anyway. Maybe. Or I don't know, maybe the one in Leowin. I don't know. My MO has always been to get into the Arcane University as early as possible. You want to make your own stuff. It's my opinion that anything you make for yourself is going to be far superior than most of the stuff you find in the world. Although, there's one thing to that, is many of the things you find in the world have a much larger enchantment on them than anything you can make. When you close an Oblivion gate, you get a Sigil Stone, and a Sigil Stone is essentially the equivalent of 2 grand soul gems. Well, at least a high-level Sigil Stone is, right? It would give you a charge of, say, 3,200 instead of 1,600, or 3,600 instead of 1,800, or whatever the number is. But anyway, and what that means is that means the amount of energy you have stored in the weapon from a soul gem, and then based on what you put on your weapon is how much of a charge that drains. So let's say you have, just for example, let's say you have a 3,000 charge on a weapon. All right, and you stack enchantments on that weapon that eventually cost 300 charge per strike. Well, that means you can only swing it 10 times, right? So if you want a stronger weapon, you're not going to be able to use it as much before you have to recharge it again. So you better have some way to keep soul gems full, or have Azura Star, and you still got to have some way to soul trap. That's why a lot of players, myself included, just put a simple 1 or 2 second soul trap on the weapon itself. With the two-hand, it's a bit different. I'm accustomed to using daggers and short swords primarily in this game, so a lot slower swinging weapon, I'm going to have to adjust the numbers a bit. Not sure exactly. I need to get at the table and actually take a look at what I can do, how much I can stack, and say, okay, this is reasonable. Like, how many swings do I want to get? Do I want to have to recharge this thing every 10, 20 swings? Or do I want to get 30, 40 swings out of something and, you know, accept maybe a little bit less damage per swing type stuff? I think with a higher difficulty, higher damage, obviously, because the longer something's alive, the more time it has to kill you. It can't kill you if it's dead, so killing it faster is obviously preferable, at least in my opinion. So probably looking for higher damage and then find some way to compensate for that. Azura Star, but getting Azura Star on this difficulty, I'm not looking forward to that at all. Killing those vampires, oh man, each one's like a boss. That's on normal. Each one was like a boss. I can't imagine here. I'm gonna have to have something to kill them with before I even go after that. I better have something really, really stout. My gear. It's probably going to be late game. I probably won't go there because usually when I go to get Azura Star, oh nice, good stuff. I usually go to the Temple of the Ancestor Moth also, and hope that off one of the Moth priests in there, there's one that's well, you're not supposed to be there, and he makes it clear by trying to kill you, essentially. But that is one of the almost guaranteed places to get a either an amulet of axes, necklace of necklace of blades, ring of blades, necklace of hammers, maybe. Forget what they're called. Anyway, they're reflect damage, and they're really nice to have against higher level enemies on normal, and it's going to be crucial here. In fact, I wouldn't mind having the amulet and a ring, and essentially reflect 2/3 of damage. So if things are 2 and 3 shotting you, then odds are you can take a free hit or two and it's reflected back at the attacker and they hurt themselves. Problem is trying to kill that Moth Priest. If they have that, they're wearing it and they'll reflect damage back at you, so it's that much harder to kill them. The more damage you do, the more you hurt yourself. It's ridiculous. But then once you got it though, it's really nice to have. I'm not going to be using a shield, but there's also a shield that does the same thing. It's called a mirror shield. And it's a glass shield. I guess it's a unique item. Although I want to say I found more than one in a playthrough. So I guess it's not technically a legendary thing, not like a Daedric item or any of that, you know, or a named item per se. But it's kind of a named item because it's always called mirror shield and it's always a glass shield. At least it always has been for me, and it reflects like I think it either absorbs or resists a certain amount of damage and reflects physical damage. Or maybe it reflects everything, like 10% or 15%, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, it really plays into that. You can essentially, with that and that ring or amulet on, you have say a 50-50 chance every other, it's a coin flip on if an enemy hits you, he's essentially hitting himself. Well, you stack too much of that and essentially you can just stand there and enemies will kill themselves attacking you. It's kind of funny, but I don't know that that's how I want to play. I would like to think that at some point in the game we'll get strong enough where we wouldn't necessarily need to wear that at all. But I think earlier to mid, say high teens, low to mid 20s, it'd be nice to have. Until we finally get our character squared away. I don't know. If we plan well, maybe by that time our character will be strong enough anyway. May not really matter. So here's that Fin Gleam on. Night Eye is cool. It can get a little annoying though. at times if you wear it all the time. So I just like keeping it as a backup and use it at certain times. It doesn't weigh much. It's only 4 pounds. I mean, I think that's worth it. If you were going to keep a few water-breathing potions on you, for example, would weigh about the same.
Bye.
Yeah, water-breathing night eye potions, say. Yeah. Okay, now that guy didn't want to buy or sell, so I'm going to sit here and wait. Just chill till morning. I love how the NPCs have schedules. They're doing their own thing. Just because you only sleep 1 hour every 6 months doesn't mean that they do. They're going to rest at night. And if you don't like it, you can go shop somewhere else. Go find someone else that wants to open their shop at 1 in the morning. Odds are probably nobody will. Except Ongar. Ongar is always up at night, but he can't be found in the daytime, so
What's going on with you?
there you go.
They say that slavery has been abolished in Morrowind. House Dress and Lalu have renounced the slave trade and freed the peaceful from servitude. I'm Felin Relis of the Mages Guild. I handle alchemy training for the Anvil chapter. Only quality goods for sale here. What can I interest you in?
Okay, I'm going to sell everything that's not nailed down to my inventory. House, what did you say? House Dress and House Lalu? You deal with them in Elder Scrolls Online. In fact, you kind of see where a lot of their stuff starts, as well as the early Altmer, when they kind of separated off and became fanatical and all that, and kind of started their Nazi movement. You know, everyone else is inferior and will either serve us or die by our hand. Kind of philosophy. You can see where that starts too, and you can see that the early Altmer leadership was against that. In fact, there's a queen that you can essentially roll with if you side with that particular alliance or covenant. And you get a chance to do all three in Elder Scrolls Online. You get to see where the Skyrim peoples, the Ebonheart pack, where they're coming from. Then you get to see where the Altmer are coming from with what do they call that? I don't remember. We always just called them yellows. Because they were cowardly. If they didn't outnumber you, they never, ever, ever would fight you face to face. And the skill that they thought they had was about 1,000 times more than what they actually had. In general, that was my experience in PvP. It's just numbers and essentially cheating. Well, I don't know if you can call it cheating. They would create alliances with Ebonheart, and they would use Ebonheart as Zergs, and then they would come in and clean up behind them, so they didn't actually have to fight for themselves. Very similar to the Altmer or the idiots you deal with in Skyrim. Actually, not too much different. Funny, the players in the real world reflect the alliance that they belong to in the game. That's actually in their attitude and their arrogance. Unfounded arrogance that never reflected on actual skill. It's just numbers. If they outnumbered you on the server 3-1, they might win sometimes. That was my experience. I'm trying to remember the name of that, but the single player campaign for that particular alliance was my favorite. It was the most Oblivion / Skyrim-esque as far as the music. When you tended to explore the different regions. There was a lot of waterfront exploring you could do, where sometimes you'd have the moon up and you could see the horizon, and you'd see some clouds. You'd have the moon up. You'd be on the beach, and there'd be birds just doing their thing, and you might be collecting driftwood or something you needed to craft with or something, and it was just peaceful. Oh, it was beautiful. And you had this Elder Scrolls type. What was his name? Jeremy Soule or whatever. Anyway, you had that type of music going on in the background too. Some of it taken straight from Oblivion, so that just, of course, just made me just a fan immediately. Beautiful stuff. Alright, so let's head up to Brina Inn. Go see if we can uncover who's killing the traveling merchants. I guess we're going to pose as a traveling merchant ourselves and be the patsy, the bait. Okay, this is what I get for trying to take a shortcut, huh? And I remember a time in my life when I was playing this game, and I've alluded to this, where it was just a really dark time. I can remember it just being so bad, and then I could get here, and I could just go through waist-high grass and hear this music in the background and be all right. You know, be all right. Like, there's that whole thing that, you know, when you remember to, you try to tell yourself, okay, this too shall pass. This day is just not going to last forever, although it may seem like it. It's just not going to, right? But shit, sometimes in the middle of it, that doesn't even always make a difference. It just seems to drag, and it just seems like just, you know, there's a storm cloud behind that storm cloud type thing. And it was times like this, you know. Maybe it's not a video game for everybody, right? But for me, it was this. It was also running around in my Mako and Mass Effect. Yeah, really, seriously. And I have fond memories of that in terms of, you know, I can't credit the game for having any kind of saving grace as far as, you know, what was happening back then. But I can say that this gave me a place to go that was nice. And it was, yeah, I can still look back on that, and I can remember there being some kind of peace in the storm, you know? Eye of the storm type thing. Seriously.
Hello there. Hello, stranger. What can I do for you?
Cariel has sent you, has she not? Go and speak with Christoph. Rent a room for the night. Once you have your room, I will meet you there. If anyone asks, you are a traveling merchant, nothing more. Do not say otherwise to anyone.
No, friend. I'm afraid I don't know the way to Shaden Hall. But good luck in your travels. Please excuse me.
Awesome.
I see.
Goodbye.
I will meet you there.
Welcome to the Brina Cross Inn. Can I interest you in something to eat, or perhaps a bed for the night? Have a look around. You won't find better prices in all Tamriel.
Cool, another source of cheap wine. I need to remember that. I don't know what Daedric quests we'll get around to doing. There's really only two items, I'm sorry, that I'm really all that interested in. I know everyone goes for that one sword. Other than being relatively high in base damage early,
I can show you some new things.
I will not be killing the person that owns that sword on this difficulty with anything I have in my possession right now.
Traveling on business? You don't look like you're out for a stroll. Let me guess. Ah, yes, thought so. We get many of them traveling through here. Well, we used to. Haven't seen as many lately. What with the, well, you know, the murders. I don't like to talk about it much, as it's bad for business. At any rate, would you care for a bed for the night? Right then. The bed is just upstairs at the back of the inn. Sleep well.
He trains, too.
Farewell.
Interesting.
Pardon me, did I hear you say that you're a traveling merchant? Don't you worry, what with the recent killings and all? I'd be ever so scared if it were me. I haven't left the inn in days, just in case. Well, you take care of yourself. I'd hate to hear about another senseless death. Good luck to you.
What is it now?
Alright, so I guess it's time to go take a nap. Well, she's hawking me, isn't she? Never mind then, right? I'm gonna practice my lockpicking real quick, but some other time, I guess.
All right, it should be safe to speak here. Once you've rested here, you need to continue along the Gold Road, heading east towards Kvatch. I shall be following out of sight, along with a fellow battle mage. Make no attempts to speak to us. Trust that we will protect you. Should you be confronted by this cowardly mage, do not hesitate to protect yourself by whatever means possible. Once the mage has revealed himself, we will step in and settle a matter quickly. Now get yourself some sleep. You'll need to be well rested.
I honestly wouldn't mind having the face sliders for her character. Not a bad looking character. I believe it's Breton too, so... Huh.
Good morning. Welcome to the inn. If it's a room you're after, speak with Christoph. I don't like to think about zombies. Missing arms, legs, heads. They smell awful, and they're hard to kill. Good day.
Okay, now I am glad to have these two battle mages around. I'm probably going to essentially let them do the work. Assuming it goes down, like it appears that it's about to go down. Oh, that's right, you can't catch butterflies in this one, can you? Still, it's nice to have them around. We get sent down the road as bait.
I'm afraid your journey ends here, traveler. I'll be taking whatever you're carrying. After you're dead, of course. I do hope it's more than the last few had. They were most disappointing.
Alright, well, just in case it goes south here, I'm going to go ahead and use my racial passive, which I very seldom remember to do. Although I'd probably be taking advantage of that more often than not. This time through. I'll go ahead and use one of these two. Sure, why not? 10%? Okay, so does that give me 60%? I don't know that magic resistance and frost resistance necessarily always work together the same way. Like, is one of them 50% of the time and the other one 50% of damage, or how does that work? I will tell you, you just keep casting spells at me while they're kicking your ass. I don't know if she was hitting me with that, but it wasn't doing much, was it? I don't know if she could have one-shotted me or not with a solid hit, but, hey.
You've done well. The Gold Road should be a little safer for now. You should return to Anvil and let Carahill know the work is complete. We'll remain here and clean things up. Take care.
I'm going to tell Carahill that those frost-resistant scrolls,
What can I do for you? Not only has necromancy been banned from practice in the Mages Guild, but the guild won't deal with anyone who openly uses it.
Yeah, I appreciate them, but on the same token, they don't do much against lightning. Just saying. I'll definitely take those. Nice. Oh, that was totally worth it right there. Now, if I was going to play a mage character, a pure mage, I would have my character dress in some stuff like that. You know, the blue velvets and the fancy stuff. They have blue velvet, red velvet. They have some really good-looking clothes, especially for female characters in this game. They really do. I really like the way they did all of that. Has a very almost sophisticated look to it. Well, since I got her key, I might as well go see what she was hiding in her room, right?
Hi there.
That's not her room. That's her room. There we go. Is she still watching me?
Hi there.
Not very good. Although, you know, the other side of that same coin, if I was to play a pure mage, I might have to go with the whole Mythic Dawn robes thing. Or something along those lines, too. I remember the Necromancer clothes in Skyrim looked pretty good. They had some pretty cool robes.
So, what of the rogue mage? Has he been found? A she, you say? And she's dead? Well, Ariel and Roliand did what needed to be done. No more innocent deaths. At least for now. You have done well enough for yourself. I'll pass along my recommendation to Raminus. Though I must say, I doubt it will do you much good in the end. You'd be surprised how easily they forget about the little people. Let's see if... Farewell.
All right. Got another recommendation. I guess next we'll head to Coral, but before we do that, I want to go maybe check out Fighter's Guild. In fact, I think we'll do that before we leave here. See if we can't get started on that. All right, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. If you want to catch the rest of this playthrough, you can click that image in the middle. It should send you straight to the playlist. Appreciate you hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.